We're headed into Mammoth Cave today. Welcome to K&E RV TV.
We're in Kentucky, y'all.
Woo!
Hey y'all, Kim and Aaron here, and we are at Mammoth Cave National Park in Kentucky.
And we're currently inside of a Mammoth Cave. Beginning of this video, we're going to be doing the frozen Niagara tour with a guide. And currently we're doing the self-guided tour through Mammoth Cave. So stay tuned.
Mammoth Cave is the largest cave system in the world at 426 miles.
Pretty incredible.
So we're gonna explore it today, and we're gonna bring you along with us.
Let's do it. We're headed into the visitor center to check in for our tour. They do ask you to be here half an hour before your tour time starts.
Way to wake up early today.
Yeah. We slept in a Cracker Barrel parking lot close by last night. So this is what we're up to today. I'm not sure if we're gonna explore the national park or not. We'll see how the weather is. It's a little cloudy now. Talks about rain today. But we're excited. It's our first time here at Mammoth Cave National Park.
Yes, it's our first time in Kentucky.
And woohoo! And again, this here, Mammoth Cave, is the largest cave system in the world. Over 420
feet, 26 feet. Miles.
There you go. I was like, what?
I meant miles.
And
That's the largest cave system, only 426 feet. That's it.
So
definitely miles.
We're excited to be here today, and we're excited to bring you guys with us.
Always recommend checking out the visitor center. There's restrooms in here, and this is where you can buy your cave tickets, but highly recommend making a reservation ahead of time. Like our tour that we're doing this morning is sold out. But there's also this whole other section you can check out here at the visitor center where you can learn a whole lot about the cave. There are different entrances to the cave. This is the historic entrance, not the one that we're gonna go into on our tour today. Maybe possibly we could do the self-guided walking tour after, and then we'll get to go in that way. But this is the frozen Niagara formation that we're gonna see today. So excited, but we enter through a different part. This is our tour, 1 to 1.5 hours, quarter mile, and 150 stairs. If you look, 500 stairs, 400 stairs. 1,300 stairs.
It's a 4-hour tour,
4-hour tour. That's not the tour for us. Temperature in the cave is mid-50s. And I'm gonna tank top. Hope I don't freeze.
So white nose syndrome, it's a fungus that affects bats that hibernate. This is widespread throughout North America. It's harmless to us or other animals. It only affects bats who hibernate. And we've seen big decline in our bat species that hibernate. Here at Mammoth Cave, like over 90%, okay? We could see a bat today. With all the wildlife we do not touch, right?
We're about to get on the bus for our tour. Just got off our bus ride. We say it was about like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
10-minute bus ride through the park. And we're heading into a man-made entrance. You feel that cold air?
Yes. Oh, it's really hot right now.
Oh my God, Aaron.
Spider.
Oh wow, that was a big one.
Yeah, no thank you.
Like I'm gonna hit my head. Cave crickets.
Yep.
Oh, look at what is in this.
Yeah.
Okay, everybody, welcome inside Mammoth Cave. What you're seeing right now is not typical Mammoth Cave. But I guarantee you, if you've been in a cave, or if I ask you if you've never been in a cave and I ask you what you're expecting to see, this is what you would say. This is what we see in the movies and documentaries, books and whatnot. And later on, as we continue on a little deeper into the cave, we're going to see classic Mammoth Cave. It's not going to look like this. It's quite different, and we'll talk about that. You heard me say something earlier about space-time, right? I was talking about relative, the trail, space and time. That's what we're seeing right here. It took time to make this space. And what is a cave? It's space and rock, right? So let's talk about the rock. It's a sedimentary rock. It's limestone. It's very soluble. And what's really cool about sedimentary rocks, there are fossils in them. And we can look at these fossils and the rocks and the minerals and the grains and everything, and we can get an idea of what was going on to create this rock. So the fossils we find shark teeth, corals, bryozoans, corals, brachiopods, corals, more corals, oodles and oodles more, layers and layers and layers and layers and stuff. What does that sound like? That sounds like ocean stuff, right? This rock was forming in a shallow ocean, kind of like the Great Barrier Reef, very, very long time ago. Layers and layers, and over time, those sediments and the calcs remain solidified. And we've got a lot of it around here. Most of the rocks that you see in the rock cuts are this rock here. And of course these environments change. Old limestone cave somewhere in the United States, Carlsbad, Luray Caverns, the same process that I just told you. So that's how the cave forms. But when we get to our next stop, we're going to talk about where the water went. The water table's gone down. This was the bottom of the cave. And then later, as we walk back this way, we're going to stop and talk about all the stalactites. That comes much, much later.
Wow. Look at the color of that water. That's cool.
Yeah, don't look down.
Wow, that was a drop.
That is cool. Watch your head. We're going right under this. Oh, your backpack got caught. That's why I didn't want to wear my backpack. Oh, I'm squeezing under the box. This is open. I'm hunched over. Oh, this is so cool.
Let me tell you, that water fluctuates with the rain. Now, we had some historic rainfall a couple weeks ago. We actually got a half a year's worth of rain in 4 days.
Wow.
And I've seen this barely drip, and I've seen it gush out. I mean, let me tell you, that day when we got that historic rain, it was hitting the wall over there. We had parts of the lower part of the cave backed up, flooded. And that water hasn't been outside long ago, maybe yesterday. And so it's trying to get to the lowest level. So this cave has formed in multiple levels over time as the water table has gone down. And think of these underground streams as tributaries, just like you see outside. Everybody see the big wall map of the hydrologically river systems of North America. Think of the Mississippi River. Look, if you saw that, it looks like a big tree with no leaves. It's all branches and tributaries. If you do the stairs, it's 98 total. It's going to feel like 100 stairs.
Wow.
That's the ceiling. Look at this. We're seeing stuff on this tour that looks a lot different than what the rest of Mammoth Cave looks like. It's not known for having a lot of stalactites and stalagmites. That's where we just came from, all the way down there. Look at this guy. I don't know if you can see him, but look at this spider, and then there's a big sack too. Look at all the layers in the rocks. Look at that.
They look like spiders, but they're not. They're insects. They're also known as a camelback cricket. They're kind of common. They like to come in places like this. There's nothing in here that's going to bother them unless they're over by the door. There's that big spider. You see that big spider had that cave cricket in its clutches? I saw one walking in, and he had one in his clutch, and the cave cricket walked by, and he reached out and snatched it up. Yeah. But there's 160 things down here. Most of these are insects, insect-like type critters. Someone saw a pack rat. We do have pack rat that comes in and out of the cave. I have not seen a bat. Bats come in and out of the cave. They use echolocation. Bats will tinkle, make a scent trail, smell the way out of the cave. Same thing with the crickets. They smell. And why people confuse them for spiders, you probably saw this moving around. That's their antennas. They're feeling and smelling. At the lowest level of the cave, we have critters that have no eyes. They have no sight. They have no skin color. There is no chance of a sunburn down there. You know why? There's no light. Would you all like to see natural cave?
Yes.
Yes.
Sit for a moment. And if we get really good and quiet, we might actually hear the cave crickets sing. And when these lights go off, you can go home and say, I have seen all of Mammoth Cave. Behold, Mammoth Cave.
Wow.
Okay, get real quiet. You hear it? Anybody hear anything? No. You don't hear anything? No. That's right, because the cave crickets don't sing. They're all over the place. You hear them scurrying around? No, I'm just kidding. All right.
That's crazy.
This is the cave cricket. You see their little antennas moving. They're trying to smell around. Did you have fun in the cave?
Yeah, this is so cool. The creepy spider.
Creepy spiders. We did
I
it.
have my sunglasses again. That was so cool.
Now we gotta clean our feet. We just saved the bats by washing our feet. So we enjoyed our cave tour. We're back in the visitor center now.
Because we gotta get it.
We have a national park passport where we can get stamps at every national park we go to. We have Congaree and we have the Great Smoky Mountain National Park in the southeast region. And now we get to add Mammoth Cave. Whoop, whoop. Sure.
That's a good thing.
Oh, apparently we're junior rangers.
Woo-hoo! Did it upside down. Awesome.
Yay.
April 24th.
We got our Mammoth Cave sticker to add to our souvenir sticker board in our RV.
Yes, if you're new here, we do live in an RV full time, and that's where we collect the stickers because it takes up less room, less weight, and we get to reminisce on the cool places we've been.
What'd you learn in the visitor center?
It's pretty cool in here. It's like definitely like a museum.
Mm-hmm.
I learned that there's quite a few animals that went extinct here, which is crazy. This is just, it's amazing. Like in this, you don't have to pay to come and check this out.
Yeah, the visitor
Amazing.
center, you can come in here for free and learn a lot all about how the cave was formed and created and been explored for the past like 5,000 years it was found, right? But the tour we went on today, the Frozen Niagara tour, that wasn't discovered till 1923. That's crazy. So this cave is still being explored. There's still much more that can be found that hasn't yet.
Yeah.
Erin, how did you feel about the Frozen Niagara tour?
It was a really easy tour to do, or a hike, or whatever you want to call it. So if you are worried about having a strenuous tour or strenuous hike for the cave, definitely recommend that one.
Yeah, it's considered the easiest.
Yeah, our guide told us it's the easiest one. There's a section where you can go down some stairs or you don't even have to because you can kind of see the area. But other than that, like, I really enjoyed it. It was nice to be able to see the stalactites and stalagmites. That's the only tour that you're gonna see those. So if you're interested in that, I would definitely say book that tour as well.
That's not the only one. If you do another tour, it includes that in it.
Oh, it
One
does?
of the longer tours includes the
Okay.
frozen Niagara section in it.
Gotcha.
And then they go out the same way that we came in.
Okay.
It's just a way longer tour.
Gotcha. But I did really enjoy it. Our tour guide did a decent job. The only thing that was weird was there were these, what are they called? Cave crickets?
Cave crickets.
Everywhere.
They were everywhere, and they looked like little spiders, but they were not spiders. They were crickets. They just have these long antennas because normally they're in the pitch black, so they use their antennas to like feel around and smell around. It's pretty cool.
That's how they like move. But there were also a couple of larger real spiders in there too.
It's right in the entrance.
So that part was just gave me a little bit of like the whoo-hoos, but it was still really cool. 50 degrees in there, felt amazing because the high is like 78 today.
That wasn't cold at all.
Yeah, so it felt really good. But we decided to do the self-guided walking tour now. Our guide did suggest that. He said if you want to see some of the larger rooms and some of the artifacts from like thousands of years ago, to check out the self-guided tour. It's only $15 a person, and you get to head through the main entrance.
Yeah,
which is like,
the historic entrance.
which is like one of the cooler parts. So we decided, you know what, we're gonna go do that. So we got in line, we got our tickets, and we're heading down now.
$24 for both of our tickets, so $12 each for the self-guided, and the other one we did today was $23.
Yeah.
So not bad. We're getting to see this beautiful national park, so let's check out the historic entrance and the rest of Mammoth Cave.
Let's do it.
All right, we're heading to the historic entrance trail. So currently walking down a pretty steep decline. It's beautiful in here, nice and shaded. There has been benches along the way as well, which is fantastic if you need a break.
Which I know we will later.
Yep, so go at your own pace, because there's a whole bunch of stairs and then a whole big incline when you come out. So you have to have tickets in order to come down to do this part of the cave. Any of the caves here in the national park, you have to get a ticket.
Yep.
Either self-guided or a guided tour. It is free to get into the national park, so you can do all the trails, go to the visitor center, but in order to go into cave system, you need a ticket.
You gotta pay the money, honey.
Pay the money, honey.
Our other tour we purchased online, so we actually had QR codes saved on our phone. But since we decided to do this, we got real physical tickets. So now we'll have
Yeah, they have a lot more times for the self-guided than they do for the guided tours. So the reason we walk over the mats is because of white nose syndrome, to save the bats, because it's killed over like 95% of the bat population here.
Crazy.
So the white nose syndrome does not affect us or our pets, it just affects the bats. Here is the historic entrance to Mammoth Cave. This is a natural entrance. The one we went in earlier was a man-made entrance. Has these stairs.
Lots of stairs.
Lots of stairs going down in. But look how beautiful they are. Like covered in moss. I love it. Hi, Erin.
I'm so excited.
Me too. You ready for the bats?
I am.
Bats in the cave. Look at all the layers of the limestone. This is so cool. And the temperature change is amazing.
So good.
We literally just entered the cave and there's already bats.
She told us that there are a lot in here and she was not kidding. They're so cute.
Look, here's one.
Look at a little fur ball hanging on the wall.
They are so little. They're like maybe the size of my thumb.
Like 2 quarters.
Oh, they're like so fuzzy. I kind of want to pet it.
You can't.
And take it home.
You cannot do either of those things.
Those are 2 no-nos.
No, big no-nos.
You know, we're not allowed to touch the walls.
Nope. No flash.
No flash photography. There's rules. Maybe a little hard to see, but here's like an old cart. I think there's going to be a few different artifacts that we see down here in the cave. Because the American Indians used to live down here, right? That's what we learned. We're in a cave. We're in Mammoth Cave.
There we are.
We're not even in the Mammoth part yet.
I know. We're in the twilight zone, which is the area where from the daylight enters total darkness. So they call it the twilight zone.
I recommend doing the self-guided tour because you can take your time,
Yep.
go at your own pace, take as many pictures as you want, stop as many times as you want.
Especially if you're trying to film a vlog.
Yes, it's way easier and more convenient than the tour that we did earlier.
Yeah.
This is the floor that you walk on in here. It looks like we're coming to our first big room. 3 bats up here. Ranger said that it's rare for them to be so close to each other. Rare bat activity today in the cave.
This is like so amazing. It's a little overwhelming, but like in the best way.
Look at this. There's a lot to look at.
Wow.
But this is a big,
This is incredible.
big open room in the cave.
Our other guy wasn't kidding when he said, "You want to see big open room?"
Wow. Ranger said we're at the national park at the right time after spring break, but before summer is the best time to visit national parks.
Makes sense.
And the weather's beautiful. So it's like a win, win, win.
Thank you, man.
There's a gate here, so we can't go any further this way, but you can tell it goes way down that way.
To think about
Right? And look right now.
that water did this.
There's barely any people in here with us right now. Is this not amazing?
I want to start singing, but I won't.
So you can see how this cave looks completely different than the cave that we went into earlier. The Frozen Niagara tour was full of stalactites and stalagmites. In here, there's literally none of that. That's why we want to do that other part of the tour. So we can get this perspective and that one as well. What is that music?
I hear a trumpet.
You hear that? It's like a trumpet. Over here are the ruins from the saltpeter works
From the 1800s.
from the 1800s. What they use saltpeter for, Aaron?
Gunpowder.
To make gunpowder. And down over here, it looks like the walkway continues this way. We're in Kentucky, Aaron. We're in a cave.
We're in a cave in Kentucky. Yeah.
This is so awesome. Highly recommend doing this. For sure.
Especially this time of year.
It feels great in here, by the way.
Especially we've been boondocking in our RV for the last couple nights, so we haven't had air conditioning. So this feels phenomenal.
Turned around. That's incredible. Is this crazy or what?
It's amazing. And water did all this. That just blows my mind.
Yeah, all formed by water. Look how high the ceilings are. This is Mammoth, y'all. This is why they call it Mammoth Cave. This was built 10 million years ago. Did you know that, Aaron? 10 million. I think this is like the biggest room yet. It is
So impressive.
very, very impressive being in here. Not every day you get to be in a cave, unless you work here.
This lamp was what the early pioneers, the cave explorers, would have used.
Uh-huh.
And it would have been filled with animal fat.
Wow.
So your bacon grease and your fried chicken oil would have gone in here, and you would have been part of a tour. But the people who came down here, they weren't no ordinary people. These people had a lot of money. So bankers, presidents, governors, kings and queens and such would come in. They spend about 2 weeks at Mammoth Cave, and they go on tours. And one of the guys was named Stephen Bishop. He got here about 1838. Franklin Gorin bought Mammoth Cave. He brought him because that's when tourism kind of got really busy with Mammoth Cave. And he had other people touring the cave too. But Stephen Bishop is he was an enslaved man. He was about 17 years old. He is credited with about, at the time, they only had about 17 miles of trails they would take people on.
Wow.
That year, he doubled it by, he doubled that by, he loved to explore the caves, and he was always finding some new part of the cave. So he added 7 miles on himself.
Wow.
And then in 1841, he actually drew a map by hand up in Louisville.
Good.
And he got full credit for it.
Good.
Love that they have the rangers all around to tell you all the history of the cave. Definitely take your time to listen to the rangers because you can get some very useful information.
And they'll answer any questions that you have.
We're here at a good time. There's a lot of rangers available since it's not super busy. I guess this is as far as we can go over here. They do have benches around if you need a rest. So they used to grow mushrooms here in the cave too. Apparently the cave's steady temperature and deep bat droppings that mix with other fertilizers, the cave soil and water would make for ideal growing beds for mushrooms. That's interesting. So this is Lookout Mountain, and this site marks the end of the cave passage. This is what it used to look like.
So if the large pile of rocks at the end were excavated away, you would see the small valley on the other side. Originally, this large section of cave was much larger, but the weathering and erosion that formed the valley outside cut into the body of the cave, resulting in the passageways collapse. It's crazy.
Yeah, here's a picture.
So normally it would have been open, but it is not. Wow.
So we've come to the end of our self-guided trail, and now we just turn around and walk back out. We get to see it all again.
And then we get to go up the stairs.
Oh.
And then up the incline back up to the
Yay! Finished through the cave, and we're just saying goodbye to our little bat friends.
They're so cute. Like seriously, I want a bat now.
Right?
number 1 and number 2.
Look at that. Love it. Bye, Mr. Bat. Now we brave the stairs.
Probably gonna take us half an hour to get out of here.
No. As soon as we came out of the cave, we had to run up the stairs, and it started pouring. And so we're stuck underneath the bat mats. And there's nobody here. You think this nice ranger will give us a ride to the top? Give us a ride, please.
We made it back to the car now that we're some wet bats. I was gonna say wet rats, but since we saw so many bats today. But it was overall a great experience. When we were deciding what tour to do, we considered just doing the self-guided tour, but then we found out that the Frozen Niagara was going to include the stalactites and stalagmites. So that's, and plus we thought maybe we'd get a little more information with a guided tour.
Yeah.
So that's why we chose that one. But then after doing that tour, we got like the cave bug, and also our tour guide suggested like if you want to see some of the large rooms and maybe bats, to do the self-guided. So we went ahead and went for it, and I'm so glad that we did.
Majority of Mammoth Cave looks like the cave that we did on the self-guided tour. The only part of the cave that has the stalactites and the stalagmites was the Frozen Niagara tour that we did.
Right.
Just so happy we got to explore another national park that we have never been to before.
Yeah.
We definitely have a goal of hitting all the national parks that we can.
Yes.
Love that we got our passport stamp.
Yes, I'm so happy. We haven't added one in a while, so it was nice to do that.
And we slept in Kentucky last night. So we get to put our sticker on our RV for
Yes.
Kentucky.
We have a map on the side of the RV that we can place a sticker for every state that we spend at least the night in. So we'll get to add Kentucky to our list. And we actually are on a road trip from the Smoky Mountains of Tennessee all the way up to New Hampshire for this summer. So if you'd like to join us on the rest of our adventures, we would love to have you subscribe. We do, again, we'll repeat ourselves, but we do live in our RV full time. We're best friends, and we try to pretty much vlog everything that we do. So we'd love to have you along for the ride.
So what'd you think of the stairs and the hike out of the cave?
The stairs actually were not as bad as I thought. They were not as steep as they looked looking down. The worst part was actually hiking back up the hill down from the trail. So that was the worst part.
But
especially
nothing too bad.
in the rain.
Yeah, the rain made us move a little faster.
Yeah.
And also there's no bathrooms that whole way down. Only
Yes.
bathrooms are in the visitor center, so just keep that in mind too.
Make sure you go before you go.
Alright y'all, I hope you enjoyed this video.
Yes, if you did, please hit your like button. And again, we'd love for you to subscribe and join us on our future adventures. And we'll see you in the next episode.
Bye y'all.